Hello, it's Carole here. Last weekend I spent the weekend with two different couples, one night and one couple the other night. And I was quite shocked in a way by my reaction, because I felt being with two couples so long made me miss Richard, my husband who died a year ago, even more. And yet I thought, why should it? It hasn't changed my situation. My situation's the same, but I'm with good friends and I should just be enjoying that and making the most of this weekend, which in the end I did. But I was very worried that I won't use the word jealous, but I was sort of thinking, well, I'm on my own and they're together. And it was a silly thing to think. And then I thought, I'm trying to keep in some way replacing Richard. I cannot replace my husband. He has died and he will not be with me again. And I've got to get used to another way of life, a life on my own, a life alone, a lonely life in some ways. But there are many things I can do and many things to take a different path and enjoy different things. I think I've said earlier that I walk on the heath now, which I never did, and I'm doing different things. I'm going to try to learn Italian, which would be a new thing for me. So I really took a reflection, and particularly on my walks, and thought I'm going to get a new circle of friends, obviously some couples and some on their own, but I'm going to offer what I can do as a single person and not worry that when I buy the food, I'm still buying dinners for two, or I'm still eating enough for two more likely, and setting out my table for two. And I'm going to realise that it's better to think, let me start again as Carole single, with all my wonderful memories of Carole married, and Carole with a partner, and Carole with the man she loves beside her. I'm now Carole single. So I've started doing things in that way much more, and I've enjoyed it much more. And now I'm really decided to enjoy the life I have at the moment and to make the most of it, to learn new things and to help other people, of course, if I possibly can ever, with anything that I've learned across my life. And people certainly help me very much indeed. So I think grief does make a funny thing of you. It does knock you sideways, but I've got to stand myself up again and say this is a different era for Carole, a different way of living. Whether I'll ever see my husband again in another life or another time, I hope I do. I still think of him constantly and still talk to him, but I've now got to realise that it's a new phase in my life. For however long it lives, however long it lasts, I mustn't be fearful, I mustn't be afraid, I mustn't be the awful word jealous of anybody else, how lucky I've been for the things that I've done. And that's what I'm going to try to do, to live a life with Carole on her own, but filled with the love of the man I loved, the man I've lost, and the man who's gone another way. And that's the way I'm going to try to live my life now and make sense of all the things that are happening. So thank you for sharing my journey with me. I can't tell you, it's really made quite a difference to me. And if ever I'll say anything that would make a difference to you, I'd be so pleased. So thank you as ever for watching and for listening.